Today I am going to knit several things together. Last video I did in Lamphun, I introduced Queen Charm Dhevi, and that was at the temple that was named after her. Well, today I'm going to go back there and I want to show you something rather interesting at that temple. I didn't pick it up before, I didn't see the linkage. I will today. On the way to Lamphun, I'm going to drive along the 106, that's the Lamphun Road. Now, along this road, for people who are familiar with the area, you'll see these tall, strong, solid looking trees by the side of the road, lining the Lamphun Road. These are called yang, or rubber trees, Dipterocarpus and some long name. Many years ago, maybe 100 plus years ago, an important guy said, you've got to plant these 2,000 trees to line this very important road. Well, there's about 1,000 still remaining. I've checked. The numbers start down there at 1 and go all the way up to Chiang Mai. Almost up to the Gymkhana Club, just short of the Iron Bridge at up in the city. The numbers are even on the on one side and odd on the other. So when you're passing through, you can look at the trees and you can see the numbers on them. And sadly, I think over time they've been renumbered. And some of them on the left are far different from the ones on the right, and therefore they're out of step. You've not got number 60 on one side and 61 on the other side. It's sadly they've moved around a bit. But apart from the numbers changing about 3/4 of the way up, and from around about 960 up further, the numbers change again to 90 down to 1. So as I say, there's just over 1,000 trees still existing. Anyway, the reason I'm rattling on about this as I'm driving along the Lamphun Road is, at number 1, there's a very important structure. Well, I've now come to the shrine at number 1, the tree that's across the road, or if you look on this side, it's number 2. This shrine invites people to beep their horn as they go by, and you'll hear cars and motorbikes alike, lorries, anything that's travelling on a road, beep beep. They're actually paying their respects to what is what the purpose of this shrine. This is the Lamphun City Pillar. And not a lot of people know this. Behind me now you can see this piece of wood. It's got lots of silk. There are 7 colours of silk here, and every year there is a ceremony to dress this shrine and renew the silks and pay a lot of respect to this shrine. There are some significant things that happened at this point. 1. In 1953, so 67 years ago, the late King Rama IX and his good wife, Queen Sirikit, they travelled north to Chiang Mai, and they stopped in this area, and therefore local people here are very happy that they can associate the King and Queen with this building, with this shrine. Number 2. Number 1 tree is outside here, and I've looked whilst I was preparing just now, that these were first planted 1899 by the then governor of Chiang Mai, and he suggested 2,000 be planted between this point, the pillar, and the city boundary, if you like, up near the Iron Bridge. So, as I said earlier, there's around about just over 1,000 still living. Point 3. This is going to link, strangely enough, to this with this little guy here. This is an elephant, and the reason I'm going to Lamphun, that is Queen Charm Dhevi. Now, let me go into the shade. It's a bit too sunny out here. That's better. Now, Queen Charm Devi had 2 sons, and they were tasked with going out and marking the boundary of Lamphun. This is back in the Harry Punchai time, and therefore this was the city boundary. And they took an elephant, and funnily enough, it's an important elephant. They took that elephant and it walked. Doubt if they walked up the Lamphun 106 road, but they walked up this direction, and they reached this point, and the elephant refused to go any further, and therefore it was declared that this was the extent of Lamphun. So this pillar was placed to actually say this is the end of Lamphun. Well, you may recall I was here in a previous video looking at Wat Cham Devi and the stupa and this magnificent hall here. I hadn't done enough research. I was a little bit disappointed when I started digging, and that's a guy soaring, and I found more information that I wanted to talk to you about. It led me to understand that there's a piece of history in this hall that we need to go and have a look at. I want to talk to you about this mural that's on the wall up here. It's from the period of Cham Devi's life when she was being sought by a king. His name was King Viranga, and he wanted to wed and bed her, and he was looking for her hand in marriage. She was very concerned that he would win her hand and obviously take over Lamphun, Harry Punchai, and therefore he tried very hard to please her, to win her over. She threw lots of obstacles in his way, and one of them was to make him attempt to throw a javelin, throw a spear into the city. And he was given 3 javelins, and he's now known for these 3 javelins. Well, he nearly made it on one throw, and she thought, well, I better do something about this. So she gave him a hat, a turban, it's said. And in the image, you can see that he's wearing this turban. Now, he's got this turban on, and unbeknown to him, she had given him this turban with menstrual fluid on it. Her blood was on the turban. And this, just like David and Goliath with the story about the hair, this weakened him, and he was unable to throw the spear into Lamphun, Harry Punchai city, and therefore not penetrate her kingdom. Bit of duplicitous meaning there. So she thwarted him, and the voracious King Viranga didn't take over, didn't get her hand. Now, full circle now, I've been wanting to take you to a place up in Mai Rim, and I want to take you to a place where he's standing and he's throwing a spear, and therefore, just like this this mural here, he's on the side of a mountain, poised to throw a spear. I have arrived at Wat Ku Chang. Chang is Thai for elephant, and Wat Ku Chang is an important little area. It's a temple, but it's not the sort of temple that you'd expect where there's a big sala, something quite grand, similar to some of the other temples you've seen. This is quite a unique temple. Well, it is unique. Ku Chang is the memorial Chedi location for Queen Charm Devi, her elephant. And this is a place where people in Lamphun and across Thailand have come to honour the fantastic efforts that this elephant and Queen Charm Devi put to saving Lamphun from being taken by the Lao people or other people who tried to invade Lamphun, Harry Punchai, at the time. So this is like a garden type temple, and here you can see a huge stupa. Underneath this apparently is where the tusks are buried. Who knows whether it's the tusks only, and maybe the rest of the elephant is deposited there too. Around this temple area there are many statue figurines that have been given by people coming along to pay respects and make merit. This elephant, I remember when I first came here, this was all soil and it was a bit slightly lower down and you could walk underneath without dipping your head too much. But now you can walk around. There's even little arrows on the ground to guide you to walk around and underneath. By paying respect to this elephant and walking underneath, you're paying respect to the work that the elephant did on behalf of the people of Lamphun. Okay, we're going to go underneath now and dip down. When I was here last, I saw a monk come through here and he touched the penis of the elephant. I don't know whether there's any significance of that. Now there's something else here. This is another stupa behind. When you read up about this stuff, you find that there's reference made to the size of these stupas. Well, a horse is smaller than an elephant, and this is a stupa that is smaller than the main one, and apparently there's a horse buried below this one. Now the horse is the horse of Queen Charm Devi's son. There's a subtle intonation in some writings that maybe this stupa is smaller because not a lot of there wasn't a lot of thought for the son versus the queen, so therefore the two sizes represent the respect paid to the two people. But yeah, that's neither here or there. If I didn't come here, then it would be an incomplete story, and for me personally this is the highlight of it because it's animal related and it's respecting the animal. And the stories that are remembered of the animals are that this elephant was courageous and good in war, and that also stopped people coming into the city and crushing them at the gate. And there's a story of it's called the Crushing Gate, of one of the entrances into Lamphun City, as the walled city that it is now is called the Crushing Gate. We seem to only get these little snippets of these little gems of information that maybe tour guides give you, or somebody at some stages talked to somebody who knew something, who knew somebody who knew something, and the stories get passed down. It's so really, really, really frustrating for me personally, because I don't get to know the detail, and I love detail. And just to know little stories about an elephant being known for being good at war and crushing people at a gate coming to Lamphun. That's not enough for me. I need more than that. And it's so sad. If you investigate on the internet, you're very disappointed. Pu Kum Nga Kiao, I think that's right, is the name of the elephant here, and that means a dark-skinned elephant that's good at war. Anyway, that's the name of the elephant. Now, that elephant is the same elephant that I talked about earlier that went to Lamphun City Pillar. So the sons, who also had a horse, took that elephant up the Lamphun Road, up the 106, and the elephant, I'll read his name again, it is Pu Kum Nga Kiao. He stopped at the place where there is now tree number 1. It's where King Raman IX and his dear wife Queen Sirikit stayed, and it's where now the shrine which encloses the city pillar stands. It's all threaded together. Well, thanks for joining me again this week. It's, as always, a pleasure for me to put clips together to show you parts of what I get up to in Chiang Mai. Overnight, I looked at some more information on the internet, trying to find a little bit more detail about King Viranga. A new revelation. Apparently the blood on the turban that he wore when he threw the spears caused him to throw it into the air, and guess what? It came down and stabbed him. It speared his broken heart. Now these are snippets we can only but enjoy. After all, it's all we've got to go on. I'm sure there must be more detail about these guys out there. Anyway, I'm going to leave you now with a couple of birds in the front garden. There's an olive-backed sunbird, and it's not a brightly coloured bird. She is pecking away at the little flowers and taking some of the nectar from the blooms. The second bird in the video is a red-whiskered bauble, and last week I showed you that they were building their nest. All week there's been a bird sat on the nest, probably the female. She's sat there hardly moving a muscle, just blinking her eye now and again, just twitching her head just to look side to side now and again, but totally sedentary. So maybe there's some little baby chicks on the way. I've seen on the internet people posting their chicks having hatched this last week, so maybe we've got some babies to be hatched here too. I'll be sure to show you those in the next video. Thank you for joining me today. If you've not subscribed already, please do. Read the description, you'll see some details there, quite a lot of detail actually in this video, about this video's location, and a bit more of the detail about what I've been rabbiting on about. Some snippets that I've included there with links of where I've got them from. Leave me a comment, tell me what you've thought of this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Until next time, stay well, stay safe. Bye-bye.